Hello, my Teacher King family. How is everyone today? I hope you are well. I am well. Everything's good. There's some college game on, but it's not on normal TV, so I can't watch it. Fuck them. All right, let's quickly look at the gold price. Now, gold was up today. Again, it's paper gold, so we kind of take it at half mask, but that's what it was. 26.70 up $14. Silver 30.17. Now, as we know, both numbers are fictitious paper numbers, derivative numbers. They're not real. They're not physical. It just, it's kind of how sad the world is when JP Morgan can control the government and control the gold and silver price with this bullshit paper like nobody knows. And nobody can stop them, or nobody says, hey, you know what, that's bullshit, or we need a physical price. That's pretty scary when somebody's that powerful that people are afraid of them. Probably George Soros behind it, of course, and that leaves Russia and China trying to get the price up, but they're probably still buying. So they're probably in on it too, going, oh, we'll buy it at this cheap price. And it's, it's moving a little, but it's at least 10 times less than it should be. Again, physical. Why is there no physical exchange? All right, you want to have a paper exchange, fine, but where's the physical price? So the fact we don't even have a physical price and we don't really know what the price of gold is. That's why when I hear Egon or somebody say this, you just shake your head. Well, look at the gold price since 1971 has gone up. No, that's not true. We don't know what it's gone up because it's now physical, and we don't know what the physical price of gold is. He says, well, it's worth the same as it was in the Roman times. You could buy a suit, like they had suit stores in Roman, toga parties. And then you had what? You had so I mean, it's so stupid because that you still don't know what the price is. And he's just being naive. We're thinking that 2,700 or 2,500 or 2,000 is the actual fair price. It's the derivative price. Yeah, it's going up because they can't hold it, or maybe they make money as it goes up. I don't know, but clearly bullshit. All right. So we'll get more into economics in a minute. $50 special. So basically, if you want to buy, you've been buying my pro picks all along. So now you get 4 weeks for $50, right? It gives you all the way through the Super Bowl. The cheapest price is $25 for the class, which still costs you $100 to buy the 4 weeks out. And so this is just $50, and it gives you 4 weeks and all the playoffs and the Super Bowl, which we're all going to be watching anyway. So just wanted to get that out there. Got paid today. I got to debate what I'm going to do with it. So I have 3 choices, and I keep going through this in my mind. The money's in the bank. So it's A, leave the money in the bank, which I don't want to do. B, take the money out of the bank, put it in the safe. Or C, take the money out and buy gold with it. But my dilemma here is I'm going to put it at least in the safe, but my dilemma is when I get paid next week, I want to buy an ounce. And so if I wait till next week, I can buy the ounce, or I can take money out of the safe and buy the ounce with that and then just replenish the safe. I like a safety amount in the safe. So we will see. Anyway, so it's nice getting paid on Thursdays. I am going to go into work tomorrow because my boss is going to be there, and just in case he needs something, I'd rather be in the office. When he's not in there, normally nobody's there on Fridays, so I was going to just work from home on every Friday, but it's year end, and he might not need something, and okay, fine, I'll show up. I'll probably run to the bank at lunch. Well, the bank's open late tomorrow, but this other coin shop is open only Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. So I'm either doing it now or I'm buying Monday. I'm buying the gold. I guess it doesn't matter if I buy it Saturday or Monday. The price will be the same. But I'm not counting on my regular place to have the quarter ounce. They'll have the ounce, and then I got to determine, do I want to, take money out of the safe plus the paycheck to buy the ounce, and then buy a quarter ounce the next week or something. I don't know. I got to see. Um, anyway, so that's what's going on. I've been analyzing Russia with Daria, so she gives me the Russian bank amount. And it was surprising today. It stayed at 97, but the FX went from 107 down to 103. So I expected the Russian bank to fall to keep that $10 spread, but it's now a $3 spread. I think something like that, or $5. So we were 102 or 103 to the ruble, but the bank was still sitting at 97. So this is a good exercise. I'm seeing how they're manipulating the FX. Just like gold and silver, and how they manipulate it, and then it becomes you can't trust anything the government puts out. Again, we'll see what happens soon with BRICS and the gold-backed currency. So now there's 9 new members. There's 18 members, and that's a lot of gold they got to buy, and that does force the gold up when they physically buy the gold. It does force COMEX up, but there's no incentive to buy it from the mine at $500 more. So the cheapest place you're going to buy it is COMEX. So everybody keeps buying it there, which leads me to believe that China's behind it all, because China wants, you want to buy it. They got 60,000 tons. They keep buying it. And so therefore, if I'm buying gold like me and you are, we want that price as low as possible, right? So I'm like ready to buy it while it's still at 20. It's at 26.70. So I'm like going, well, maybe I should buy it now before it goes to 3,000. I have no doubt about the price going up. I have no doubt about any of that. Again, these aren't opinions. These are facts. These are what is going to happen. Just like the Titanic, it got hit. The water's coming in. It's going to sink. It's not my opinion. It might sink. It's as the water goes in, it's going to sink. And the same with the dollar. And I keep watching Bloomberg, and I just keep cracking up like, oh, we're going to do well, and we're going to do well. And all the stocks that were down are being bought, and because the other ones are overvalued. And you just go, why would I want a shit company? Why would I buy that? Oh, it's going to go on. Oh, okay. All right. So let's get to football, and then we get back to gold. All right. So let's go through the NFL. Tonight I played the under in the Penn State game. Penn State went favorite. So Penn State ended up being 1-45.5. For some reason, I played under 45.5. So I'm under 51.5, 52, somewhere in that neighborhood. Looking at the game as Notre Dame with this really strong defense and really no passing attack, and they run a little bit. Penn State, strong defense, very little offense. They won't do anything against Notre Dame. If Indiana couldn't, and Indiana averaged 45 a game, I doubt Penn State is not better than Indiana. So this should be a defensive struggle. And then tomorrow we've got Ohio State. I see a 4.5, 5.5, and a 6, and 52.5 to Texas. I did play that game. Yeah, okay. Nothing's really changed. It was 5.5, 52.5, and it's about the same, 52.5 or 53. Um, I look at that game that Ohio State's been, you put up 42 on Oregon. That Oregon's got a really good defense. So I think that although it was questionable against Penn State, maybe they had injuries or something. But anyway, I think Ohio State knows they need to score. Texas has been giving up a lot of points, scoring some. I think Ohio State shuts them down pretty good. Ewers isn't anything. And Georgia beat them twice, and Ohio State's almost as good as Georgia. Don't kid yourself. They lost to Michigan. That's something you don't soon forget. And Texas, though, who have they beat, really? They played two decent teams, and they lost to both of them, called Georgia. This playoff has been a joke. They should have lost Arizona State, and they beat a weak Clemson team with 3 losses. You've got to be kidding. What were they doing in the tournament? It was almost like it's almost like fixed, where we put in Boise and Clemson and SMU into the thing. I heard some guy said, well, SMU had a really good defense, good offense. Yeah, that's against ACC teams. See, the big caveat when you listen to people, you have to be careful because you have to dig into the details, which they don't do. They'll just say, oh, well, Southern Miss averaged 40 points a game. So did Indiana, right? But who did they play? Now, Indiana played Ohio State. They got 15. And basically, and you look at it now, Penn State held Ohio State to 20, although it should have been 27. The quarterback fumbled at the goal line, and the ball went through the end zone. So you always got to look, and that's why I keep saying, who did Penn State play? They played nobody. They played one team, Ohio State, and they lost. That was it. They didn't play anybody good. So what they're doing here, what did they do? Oh, SMU, and a weak A, really like a Mountain West team who's in the ACC, and then they beat Arizona State barely. Oh no, that's Penn State. They beat Boise, who was one-dimensional with the running back, who was very good, Gentry. He should be a top 5 pick, but it was, for Penn State, they had the pretty good defense to contain him. Although he still got over 100 yards in the game, and it was a lot of flukes by Penn State in that game. So you really got to dig into it. I always do that with the Lions. They got a 20 defense, but if you look at the last 5, it's a 32. So you really got to say, or Pittsburgh, the Steelers. I keep hearing, well, the Steelers, oh, look, they haven't scored in the last 4 weeks. Yeah, they played Baltimore, Philadelphia with the top defense, Kansas City with the top defense, and then San Diego, who doesn't have a great defense. But against the 3 top defenses, they didn't score. Well, nobody's scoring on Philly, and not a lot of people are scoring on Kansas City. So, yeah, of course they're not going to score. Look who they're playing. They're playing very strong defenses. And they don't have a receiver because that guy, Pickens, I would not even play in the playoffs. I would just say, when you learn how to catch the ball, fella, we'll let you play. Until then, why don't you take a seat on the bench, and we'll play. At least these guys can catch, right? Or I'd play with 3 tight ends. I mean, you don't need to run deep. Just let them get open in the zone. I've kind of figured out Lamar. He's not really good, but everybody plays zone against him because he can run. So they can't play man-to-man coverage because because all the guys would do is they'd play Oklahoma ball where they'd all run deep, and then the Jalen Hurts or whoever would run behind them. That's how this Lincoln Riley, if you notice, all his good quarterbacks are running quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, all he did was they would run deep and then he'd run. And Jalen Hurts, who can't throw, would run. And the difference is Caleb doesn't run, so his strategy doesn't work. and it kind of worked with Baker Mayfield, but he was a good thrower. But basically, you have to look at who they're playing. It's just like Egon gold. The gold has gone up, but it's not real. It's been held down by derivatives, so you can't make those comments because the gold price isn't real. And it's the same thing. You've got to look at who these teams are playing to really get a good idea on the teams, because it's bullshit. These teams, you're not getting a fair read when Pittsburgh plays four real tough teams. They didn't play Carolina and Tampa and New Orleans and Atlanta, teams that are weak defensively. Anyway, so that's college. So I got the under in tonight's game, betting Notre Dame's defense to keep the score close. Notre Dame's lack of offense, they won't score. It'll be more field goals. Penn State, they're not going to score on Notre Dame. Maybe let's go Notre Dame winning like 13-10 or something like that. Maybe 17-13. That's about all I see. Let's go to the NFL. So we start off Saturday. Now, why they don't play 3 games Saturday and 3 games Sunday is what they should. The problem is they're fucking Minnesota and the Rams, because they lose a day. They got to play Monday night, and everybody's healing on Monday. They're playing Monday night out of schedule because they're used to playing Sunday afternoons. And then they could theoretically play Saturday based on the seedings. Let's say Minnesota wins, they could be playing somebody on Saturday. Again, it's reseeded, so it's not like they're going to play the 1 seed, the Lions, if Washington or the other, Washington or Green Bay wins. We'll see. Let's get into it. So we got San Diego 2.5 and a 3, 42.5. No weather to worry about. I don't know if I got good injuries or not. Khalil Mack resting. Who cares? Why do they even put it on? McConkey injured toe. He played last week. He'll be playing. He's a good Georgia guy. Houston. Okuda. Okuda was out for the Lions for 3 years, and now he goes to Houston, and he's out again. Guys like that, you can't. You got to let them go. Go play somewhere else because you're not going to play. Defensive end Autry out with the knee. A guard out with the knee. A defensive tackle out with an ankle, and that's it. Joe Mixon injured with rest. Why is he on the injured report if they're resting? Nico Collins resting. So it just gets the San Diego dominant defense, Mack and Bosa and James. Herbert, much better than Stroud. Good running. And Harbaugh knows how to coach the pros, not college, but in the pros. So no weather to worry about. So pretty even game. Let's see. What do we have here? We have San Diego. Let's see. Where are they? 10-0 is a road favorite because they won last week. 15-2 in a teaser, 28-6 the last 2 years. Not too bad. So that's San Diego. Houston is a home dog. I don't have them as a home dog. I have to do their tendencies. Play against at home, 7-0. They did win last. No, that was at Tennessee. Oh, that was play against Tennessee. Okay. Play against Houston. They did. It's 14-3 now because they actually beat Tennessee as the dog, but they should have been favored. 27 play against 27-7 now, but I don't know how to say. I don't really want to count that game last week because they didn't try. Tennessee's even worse. It's funny. The GM from Tennessee got fired. Why would anybody be surprised? They suck. He drafted Will Levis. This is your quarterback. He sucks. Why should he keep his job? When you draft Daniel Jones, why does the Giant guy keep his job? The Jet guy should be gone with all his craziness. These teams suck. Cleveland should be gone. Oakland, they did fire the coach, and I think the GM. I guess Tom Brady's going to get involved with the coach. What are they going to hire Bill Belichick? He would never hire Bill Belichick. Are you kidding? Well, maybe if he's the owner. You have just the Bears. What are they going to do for coach? And the GM's terrible. He drafted Caleb. Now the Washington GM I'd like, and the Denver guy's doing all right, and the Atlanta guy, he actually did the steal of it because he did have Cousins because he had nobody, thinking he'd never get Penix, and then when Penix was available, he drafted him and did exactly what I would have done. Get rid of Cousins, and I would have started Penix a few weeks earlier, and I'd be in the playoffs. But that's okay. Penix is very good. All right, Saturday night now we got Baltimore 9.5, 43.5. I guess Zay Lewis, what's his name? Zay. The receiver. He's out, and they don't even have him listed on the injury list. What the fuck? Oh, maybe because he's out, but they list the outs. Aguilar's injured with concussion. Hill's out. Cornerback's out. But the wide receiver's out. Zay, whatever his name is. I don't know what it is. Let's see. Pittsburgh. Linebacker out. Some wide receivers out. Defensive tackle. Nobody important. Let's look at the weather. Weather, 32 degrees, 8 or 9 mile an hour winds, nothing. 29, 30, 31, and not much of a wind chill. So the weather won't be a problem. So how do we look at this game? How do we look at it? Pitt, I believe, is a live road dog. This is always Pitt won 8 out of the last 9 until they just lost. Pittsburgh's a live road dog. It's not Russell Wilson's fault. It's the receiver who can't catch his fault. So, like I said, I wouldn't be. That name popped out of my head, and I know it's Zay Flowers. I think. I'm having a mental lapse right now. I tried to give somebody my phone number. I couldn't remember it. I screwed up the last 2 digits. I knew the number and the first 3, but when I got to the last 4, I couldn't remember it. I said it wrong, and I don't know why. I wasn't nervous or anything. I just said the phone number wrong. I don't know where that came from because I don't call myself a lot. It's like at work when I need my work email. I have no idea what it is. I don't email myself there. Anyway, so I don't know. The brain's getting scrambled. So Baltimore 9.5, 43.5. Baltimore's not that great of a home favorite. They're much better road favorite. Pittsburgh is a very good road dog. I gotta put in the details. I'll do that after this. I haven't had time. I've been so busy the last few days. I think this number is very high. It's actually 9.5 and 10. We know Lamar in a playoff game chokes. I just can't see them beating Pittsburgh by 20, but Pittsburgh's been playing bad, but they've been playing good teams. Baltimore does not have a very good defense. It's a 22 defense, and Pitt's also a 22. Pitt's defense is getting a little worse. Baltimore's defense is getting a little better, but I think it's who they're playing. So I don't know. Baltimore's been an over team. I have them as an A team now, but without Zay Lewis, look out there, and I just I think they're gonna turn it into an Army Navy game. I think they're gonna try to run Henry, and Pittsburgh should be wise to that. They should make Lamar beat him throwing without Zay Lewis. What the fuck's the guy's name? I got it. Just let me get that. Zay Lewis doesn't sound right. I know. I thought he was a terrible draft pick. Zay Flowers, pardon me. He's out of the game with that. Eagles, Jalen Hurts, a full participant in practice ahead of the wild card game. Now, here's one I got to read. LA Wildfires, NFL moves the Vikings-Rams game to Arizona. Oh, okay. Now it is a road game for LA, not a home game. That's huge. These wildfires are pretty crazy, huh? So now what do we got? Well, we'll get to that game. So without Zay Flowers, Zay Lewis, same thing. That's a big number, 9.5. So they got to win by 20 because you could take 16 points in Pittsburgh. Over under, Baltimore seems to score on Pitt, although without Zay Flowers, things could get a little dicey. And see, what happens is teams play Baltimore in a zone, so Lamar can't run, and therefore these guys like Zay Flowers and the tight end Bateman and these guys just fight. It's like Kelsey; they just sit down in the zone. That's why they're wide open. It's not Lamar. Lamar's taking credit, but he shouldn't be. He's not that good. And when he gets into against Kansas City, they don't play a zone on him. They attack him, and that's why he always chokes against Kansas City. So they know how to defend him. These other teams, Pitt should attack him. They shouldn't sit back in the zone. They should attack. They should blitz the hell out of him. Make him throw and beat you, and they're not going to do it. And you also run blitz, Derrick Henry. I'd be blitzing the whole game, and if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose blitzing because I know Lamar will choke. He's not a good quarterback when he has to throw. Make him have to beat you. He's no way he can. Over under 43.5. I don't know. That guy's so bad on Pittsburgh, the receiver. Both teams 22 defense. That's a tough one. Because it's 37.5, the weather's not too bad. I think you almost got to go over because Baltimore still puts up 20-something. In that game played, that Pitt one, it was 18-16. It was still a 34. So I think you can get over 37.5, even though normally you would play Pitt in an under game, but Pickens, that's it. See, the things keep falling in and out. Maybe Pickens learn how to catch. I don't know. If I'm the coach, I have a long talk with Pickens and say, I give you one chance. This is like 8 men out. You make one bad pitch, you hit somebody in the back, you're sitting out. I'm not going to have you throw the game. And that's the same thing here. If you can't catch the ball, you're going to sit on the bench. I'll bring in another wide receiver, running back or tight end, or a safety or something like New England did with Trey Brown and say, fuck it. I'll go down with guys who can catch the ball. You're an embarrassment. So we will see, but I would think I think it's more of an over. That's the advantage of having Henry. When you get inside the 5, Minnesota, you score touchdowns running the ball. Believe me, if Baltimore plays Detroit, they're going to give the ball to Henry at the 2-yard line, and it'll be a touchdown. They have no chance. And that's what Minnesota, their offensive coordinator needs to be fired. He didn't run the ball. You cannot throw from the 2-yard line and expect anybody to be open because the defense doesn't have to worry. There's only 10 yards of end zone. It's not the Canadian Football League. So when you get to the 2, if you're throwing a pass, you got to fire the offensive coordinator. Unless it's the play action Dave Casper pass, you're fucked. And that's what he did. So with Henry, though, inside the 5, they scored touchdowns because nobody can tackle him. I hate this business decision thing, too. No. Your business is to tackle the guy. You're getting paid $10 million. You fucking tackle the guy. There is no business decision to not tackle him. No. You're paid to tackle him, not to not tackle him. He's a big guy. You hit him in the ankles. Guess what? He falls down. All right. So Baltimore, Lamar, he chokes. Pittsburgh plays them well. Normally they beat them the first game, and then they had a bad game last time. I know Pitt's been playing bad, but it isn't Russell Wilson. And like I said, if Pickens plays, the defense should play Steeler football, which is very strong defense. So I don't know. I really have no idea how to play this game. I maybe Pitt, but you're so turned off by Pitt. But I can't play Baltimore and lay 3.5 or 4. That spread should be 7. I got Baltimore 7. Then I would have taken Baltimore -1. 9.5, 10. No, thank you. I've seen Lamar enough in the playoffs to know he chokes. Buffalo, 8.5, 47.5. We go Sunday at 1. 8.5, 47.5. That's what we've been. I have played this game. Denver, a B team, 19 defense, and Bo Nix. Denver is 16-1 in the teaser this year, FYI. Buffalo, an A team with the 22 defense. Buffalo, well, they did lose last week. They're 14-2. We won't count last week because they didn't play Josh Allen. So that's where this last week screws up your trends. So I just assume that use them they played Mitch Trubisky and they lost. Well, yeah, of course you did. I love that the New England coach got fired because he was supposed to lose that game, so they would get the number 1 pick. And what does he do? He wins. He beats the 3rd string of Buffalo and wins, and cost them the number 1 pick in the draft. Not too smart. That's why you're not playing anymore. You cannot bite the hand that feeds you, and in this case, whatchamacallit, there goes my mind again. Mr. Gillette, what the fuck's his name? Anyway, he, if he says lose, you lose because you're biting the hand that feeds you. Means if somebody's giving you, paying your salary and they tells you to lose, you lose. But you won, so you bit the hand that fed you and he stops feeding you. Anyway, so what do we do with this game? Bo Nix looks great. Josh Allen, okay. I'm still not sold on him in a big game. He hasn't won too many big games. They got killed by Baltimore. I mean, that's the problem. They got killed by Baltimore. They did beat Kansas City at home. It is at home where they play very well. Denver, I'm so tired of this guy on the radio saying you can't bet a rookie quarterback. Okay, first of all, I don't know where you're getting that from. Secondly, he's not a rookie anymore. He played, 6 years of college, but this is a 17-game season. This is like before it was maybe 12 or 14 games. You played 17. Did he look bad against Denver last week? Which, from what I'm hearing, was a fixed game that Denver, Casey didn't want to play Cincinnati and Joe Burrow. They know they would have lost to him. And so they know they can beat Denver, or they'd rather play Bo Nix than Joe Burrow. So they laid down, and I believe that absolutely 100%. But they played their 3rd string, so Carson Wentz isn't going to beat anybody. And Denver had to win, and it was at Denver. So they did play their backups, which I knew, but they you could tell the way the line jumped that, there was something going on there. So Denver got a gift. They got to go to Buffalo. My line's 7. Denver with a 19 defense, Buffalo up to 22. Buffalo's defense is never that good. Their offense is always helter-skelter with Allen and these strange pass plays to Shazier. I'm like, where the guy ran down the middle. Like, okay, it's not a big deal. I think Buffalo wins at home, but I don't think they blow out Denver. I'd be shocked. I don't know how to rank Denver because they did get killed by Baltimore. They lost a close one to Kansas City. You can't count this one. They didn't play Mahomes and Kelsey. And apparently KC didn't try. So that's how I look at it. I think it's a little bit high. I think 14.5 in Denver is probably a pretty good play, as is 2.5 for Buffalo. I would think this is just play a teaser. Over under, it's 47.5. I think this game, I mean, that means 41. That means 24-20. I can't imagine this game doesn't get 24-20 or higher. Green Bay. Buffalo probably puts up 30, and Denver probably puts up at least in the 20s. Maybe 31-23, I would guess. I haven't done my scores yet, but that's just my feel is Buffalo will score at home. The weather's not terrible. And Bo Nix should score a little bit too. Even if it's in the fourth quarter, he puts up a few touchdowns. I can't imagine that we don't get a 24-20 in this game. Green Bay, Philly. Now, Jalen Hurts apparently is playing, and Jordan Love apparently maybe is playing. Jordan Love hurt his elbow against the Bears, and they pulled him, which means it must be serious because it cost them. They got to play Philly now instead of Tampa, which is a huge difference. Plus, if they win and Minnesota wins, they get to play the Lions. Minnesota will play either Philly or Tampa or Washington or the Rams or whoever comes out of it. Philly, I got Philly -6. Both teams are A teams. Green Bay's got a pretty good defense, but my guy from Georgia's out with an ankle, number 7, and the cornerback's out, Zaire Alexander. Philadelphia's been playing very strong defense. This is not a game I would fuck with the defense and go over. Green Bay in 10.5. We got to see if Love is there, if he's playing. We saw Minnesota happen pretty good, and then Green Bay scored 2 late touchdowns to cover that, and Mini won 27-25, but it was 27-10 Mini. And so that's what scares me about Green Bay. And if 2 of their defensive players are out, I think Barkley's going to run and run and run and run. So this is the advantage of having a balanced offense and a good running back. So I think Philly wins. I think this spread's a little low. 4.5, 45.5. I wouldn't go over against Philly's defense. And again, we don't know how Love is. We'll probably make a better pick on this Saturday or Sunday. I would guarantee Love plays if he can throw the ball. If he can't, they got to go with Malik Willis. They're in big trouble. Hurts is no bargain either. I don't know let's see if Devontae Smith's playing. Not that he's any good. They win because of A.J. Brown. Let's see. Green Bay. Dobbs, the receiver, is questionable with an illness. He'll play. Safety Anderson's out. Dillard, a tackle's out, which isn't good against Philly to have your offensive lineman out. Another safety's out. Like I said, Jair Alexander's out. Quay Walker, the number 7, and my Georgia guy, the linebacker's out. They got a lot of key injuries on their defense. That ain't good against Barkley. Philadelphia, the tackle is doubtful. Devontae Smith here is doubtful with the wrist, but I don't think I went on the other one. I didn't see that. I'm not really sure on that injury. Jalen Carter, it's got doubtful with rest, but I don't think he was doubtful. Especially if the answer, well, this rest seems like bullshit because of that. Pickett's questionable with ribs. Who cares? Barkley. Barkley's not doubtful. This must be practice where they're resting. Jalen Hurts out with the concussion, is not out. Let's check the weather. 38 in Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon, 35, 30, and no wind. So it's sunny and then a little clouds. So the weather's going to be mild. It's really just give the ball to Barkley and Hurts with a little passing that he does. He's really bad, and then Love. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure he'll have to play if he takes the needle or not. He's still going to have to play, and we will see. But I would think with the key Green Bay injuries and the linebacker in the secondary, I think Philly wins the game here. Like I said, Green Bay got lucky against Minnesota. Well, Green Bay's problem is they wanted to run the ball against Minnesota, and it wasn't working, and they kept running, and it wasn't working, and Minnesota kept scoring, and it wasn't working, and they finally started throwing, and they scored 2 touchdowns. You're like, play your game. I hate when teams do that. You got 2 explosive teams, and the one team decides to run as a way to win, and they never do. They always lose, and then they start throwing at the end. You're going, why didn't you just play this game in the beginning? Because you couldn't win trying to run the ball. You can only win trying to throw the ball. All right. So we got good weather pretty much everywhere. It's not 10 inches of snow. Washington, Tampa. Tampa 3-50. My spread, Tampa 3. Daniels against the Baker, both with 23 defenses. Baker's been lighting it up. So has Daniels. I look for points in this game. Now, the fact Daniels is a rookie, he's better than Love. So he's better than Hurts. He's better than Nix. He's better than Lamar. And he's better than C.J. Stroud. You want to bet those quarterbacks because they're not rookies? Well, except for Nix. Daniels is right up there with Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, and Burrow. All right. Don't kid yourself. So the fact he's a rookie means absolutely nothing. He played in bigger games when LSU played Alabama and LSU played Georgia than than this game. Okay, so don't give me this shit. Oh, he's a rookie. Yeah. No. Not when they played Alabama. Don't give me he's a rookie. They're a very live dog in this game, I think. Washington beat Philadelphia. With 5 turnovers, they beat Philadelphia somehow. So I don't see Tampa win by 10 or more in this game. So you get 9. Absolutely. And then there should be points because these are both pretty high scoring teams here. Let me try to mark what the hell I'm doing here. All right. So let's take a look. I think it's going to rain a little bit in Tampa Bay. Weather forecast 61, and then it goes down to 50. 61 at 7 p.m. and at 8 p.m. 52. And then it sits there, no wind and clear. So it's a nice day. Look at injuries, if we can even trust this thing with the injuries. Lattimore, the quarterback, the cornerback's out. Owens, the safety, who I don't know, is out. Another linebacker's out. The rest are resting. I love that. They're injured, resting. The center's doubtful with an ankle, and the tackle's doubtful with the groin. We'll see. Tampa Bay. Dean, the cornerback's out with the knee, and Winfield's out with the knee. Now, I got to double check that because I thought he came back, but he's been injured. And Cade Otton, the tight end's doubtful with the knee. So we got to get better injuries just to make sure, because I don't trust this site right now. They're not updating their injuries properly. So we got good weather everywhere. And mini LA is in Arizona, is in a dome, so not worried about the weather. So we've got Tampa with Mayfield. They're not a great team. They score. Mayfield scores, and Washington has been scoring all over. Not a great defense, decent defense. They beat Philly. It was 35-34 or something like that. So definitely think Washington's a live dog here, and should be a lot of points with Daniels. Even though he's a rookie on the road, God, people are so stupid. And let's get to the rim. What the hell is going on here? Minnesota is now a 2-point favorite because the game's in Arizona, I guess. Total is still 47.5. I believe I bet this game. If I didn't, I'm going to. Both teams are A teams. Are the Rams really an A team? 20 defenses. Darnold against Stafford. This is where Stafford, Pukanuka, and Cooper Kupp need to play, and the running back. Their defense isn't that great. It's not as good as the Lions. Minnesota, I was looking at the drive chart of the Minnesota-Detroit game. Minnesota has the ball 3 times inside the 10, goes for fourth down on 4th and 3 at the 3 twice and gets nothing. And the other time, they made a terrible play call and kicked a field goal. I don't mind them kicking the field goal, but this is why I lost the overs. They get the ball at the 2-yard line twice and don't get. All I needed was 1 touchdown and I win it. It was ridiculous. The play calling sucked. The Lions aren't that good defensively. You're not understanding their scheme. You need to play power ball on them. Minnesota needed to run the ball inside the 5, not throw it. All Detroit did was just pressure the quarterback. They just ignored the run and went after the quarterback, who then failed out. And Darnold looked like he was in high school. He looked terrible. He's not going to get the same with Minnesota. They don't have that defense. I think Jefferson should have a strong game here. The game in Arizona doesn't really affect anything at all. I think you just try to take the guys who don't choke. That leaves Lamar off. I think Darnold, Stafford's won a Super Bowl. Darnold will never win a Super Bowl. The amount of choking that Minnesota did last week just boggling. You get an interception at the 7-yard line. It should be 2 plays and a touchdown. Where was the back out of the backfield? The play the Lions ran, or you can't have an empty backfield at the 2-yard line and say, we're going to throw the ball, because there's nowhere to throw it. And so they're just going to pressure your quarterback. This offensive coordinator is fucking Wade Phillips' son is as dumb as Wade Phillips. Absolutely moron. Should be fired, which is shocking because they played pretty good. They've been scoring pretty good. I guess they've never seen a blitz the whole year. Nobody blitzed them. Jefferson missed 2 passes that Darnold should have nailed them. One at the goal line, one in the right corner that he was wide open. Darnold panicked. Not very good, Darnold. They're not going to win with McCarthy because all he did was hand the ball off. So they need a quarterback. Darnell was good, but you just saw when the crunch came, he choked. He couldn't handle the pressure. That was it. So you can't really live with Darnold either. You've got to find. I would go after the Oregon quarterback Gabriel, or I gotta do my study on the quarterbacks. There's 5 or 6 good ones out there. I saw Carson Beck is transferring from Georgia. He must have got beaten out by the kid. That's all I can say is coach probably said, we're going to go with this kid. Who knows about your shoulder, if it'll even get better. And, you lost to Alabama, which is hard to come back from. So I think Georgia's got their quarterback. And then so Beck, I don't think Beck's any good anyway. Not like Stenson Benson was. So you got to watch these portal guys. Anyway, so that's really it. I'll play at least 5 of these games, but I'll play them if I don't really have a feel. I'm not going to play it or play it late. And then I do have a lock already that I just love, and it should be in 2 teasers. The lock. Let me see if I played this other game. I might not have yet. Okay, I played that one and that one. No, I haven't played the other one. All right, I will play that one soon. All right. So let's go to golden economics now. Not much. We've covered football. We'll take a look. Again, I bet the under in the Notre Dame game. I don't even care. If they don't want to put it on TV, fuck them. I'm not going to hunt her down for ESPN or Fubu or any of these pay $50 to watch a game. I'll watch it on YouTube after. And too bad. Maybe tomorrow I might go out and go to a sports bar and watch that game, the Ohio State game, but I'm not sure. It depends what time it's on. I do have it at the club. I can maybe work out late, go have dinner, and then work out late there. I think what time's it on tomorrow? It's on at 7:30. Well, the club closes at 10, I think. All right, so quick look at gold's 26.71, silver 30.21. All right, so let's take a look at an egon one. So I've been noticing all these countries are falling apart. They're all in trouble, going bankrupt. Germany, Italy, France, the UK, Switzerland, China, Japan. They're all going broke because it's the same story. They printed too much money. And I keep seeing it when I'm on Bloomberg, I'll see this one country and they're in trouble because, they think inflation's under control. This is my favorite thing. Everybody thinks inflation's under control. They don't even know what it is. Well, the prices are coming down. Well, that's because nobody has money to buy things. So the marketplace, you will lower your price if you can't sell it. But that doesn't mean inflation's under control, which is my whole point about inflation. There's no such thing as deflation. Inflation is never under control because it's not based on prices. It's based on increasing the money supply, killing the value of the dollar. Nobody wants a dollar that's overinflated. No offense, Bobby, but it's like this is not limited. I don't, this is a $5 card because there's a million of them versus everybody wants this one because there's 50 and it's Mahomes. So when you have something that's not limited, nobody wants it. You keep printing the dollar and you keep printing the dollar. And all you think is, well, the prices are the inflation. And oh, look, the prices are down. So the inflation's down. You don't even understand the concept. It's not the prices, because the prices could be deceiving. They could be down in gold because of the COMEX price fixing. Could be down because nobody wants to buy it. Again, you only have a market if somebody wants to buy this. So if somebody wants to buy my whiskey, it has a value. If nobody wants to buy it and the price goes down, it doesn't mean inflation's going down. It's totally apples and oranges. It's got nothing to do with inflation. Inflation is not prices. Inflation is you printed so much money, it's lost value. And so therefore, that's the inflation. Now, normally it costs more dollars to buy, like the gold or the silver or the Canadian club scenario. The prices aren't really going up. It takes more dollars, since they're worth less, to buy something. A tennis racket might have cost you $200, now cost you $300, because the dollar's lost value and it takes more dollars. So that's the concept that they're using in prices, but it doesn't work in everything, only in certain things. And there has to be a demand, and there has to be, if people don't have money, they are not going to go buy a tennis racket. Doesn't mean that, so the tennis guy can't sell it because he doesn't have, nobody's there to buy it. Right? I marked the tennis racket $300. Nobody wants to buy it. I got to lower the price because I'm in business to sell. And if it's too high, I can't sell it. Or I give you my Toyota guy trying to raise the price on the Camry for $35,000 because steel went up and nobody wanted it. He had to lower the price back to $26,000. Does that mean inflation went down? Fuck no. What does it mean? That there was no demand for it at $35,000 because the market said, no, I'm not going to pay. So understand, it is not, oh, the inflation's going down because prices are going down. I think that was in, what country was that in? I don't know. I don't remember. One of the countries, and they're all excited. Oh, inflation's down. It's not down. All right, let's look at Egon. Yeah.
Your financial wealth and therefore your health also. But before that comes, remember that there is just no money into gold. Gold isn't everything. We talk about protecting your financial wealth and therefore your health also. But before that comes friends and family, which I always stress. That's the number one. If you don't look after that side of your life, you're going to fail with everything else. So that's so important. This is what Charles Dickens wrote. Gold for the instant lost its luster in his eyes, for there were countless treasures of the heart which it could never purchase. That's what I'm saying. Gold is okay, but you mustn't adore money. It's not the golden calf we're talking about. We're talking about as life insurance, but your real life insurance and your real life is all about helping family and friends, especially in the times we're going to have. Remember that there is just no money into gold. Gold isn't everything.
Whatever, Egon. Gold is everything. Come on, we all know that. Debt crisis is created by politicians and central banks. It's all central banks who run the politicians. That's what nobody really understands. There's no such thing as politicians are not on their own, and they're run by the JP Morgan runs the that's what the whole lobbyist thing's about. I give you $1 million, you do what I say. You're my slave. And you take the money, and now you're my slave. Don't do this. I want you corrupt. I want print the money, da, da, da. It's all the corruption. So that's the part he's missing. But yeah. I keep seeing these barnacle videos. They're kind of gross, but like this whale's got barnacles all over them. Are these like stupid animals that keep going where the barnacles are, or did we just never see them before? All right. Now I was watching Egon, but there's not much in Egon. Egon's on with this Matt guy who I hate because he's not he's just a talker, but he's a salesman. We can listen a little.
Max out was $130,000.
This is today.
Welcome, everyone, to a new year, 2025. I'm here with Matt Pfeifenberg, my good friend, colleague.
Moron.
And we're going to try to figure out what's likely to happen in the coming year and thereafter, because in our view, we're now approaching a risk structure or a risk picture for the world, which has basically not been seen for decades or maybe longer.
Never been seen.
And as many know, my prime concern is always worrying about risk, protecting risk. And that's why we are in the gold business, because we think that when it comes to protecting wealth, is basically the best instrument there is. Looking at risk, I think, of course, we are at the end of a monetary era, an era that probably started when the Fed was formed in 1913 or 1971 when Nixon closed the gold window. And I think eras don't finish quickly, but as I have explained in many articles and interviews, that I think we're entering the exponential phase of that era. And that means that, you see it in all areas of the economy and of politics. You see, look at all the countries in Europe, for example, they all have political problems. They don't have any proper leadership. France and Germany, the biggest, two of the biggest economies in Europe, they're having massive problems and no leadership, change of governments, no support for the ruling government. UK has got the most disastrous government with the Labour Party that is already, if there was an election tomorrow, they would not be in power anymore, although they had a great majority only a few months ago when there was an election. And that's what's happening. On the other hand, and Matt will talk more about that, in America, of course, now we have a president that actually, the incumbent president who has a majority. But that will also, America will have major problems also. So the political risk is major. Of course, we worry a lot about the economic risk, and that is not going to change. The debt is going up exponentially, and we foresee now deficits in all countries accelerating further, and therefore debts accelerating further, and therefore, of course, inflation going up further. And remember that inflation is not prices going up. Inflation is the currency going down. And there's a major difference. Government always says, well, prices are going up. But it's not. It's just the value of the money, your dollar or your euro or your pound in your pocket that's going down, because governments are continuously destroying the value of your money or of your currency. Just we look at, I've shown that example before. 71, you bought a 12 kilo or 400 ounce gold bar for $14,000. 14,000 for 12 kilos, 400 ounces. Today, that gold bar is worth $1 million. And that's not the gold price going up. That's your currency, whether it's the pound or the dollar or the euro, going down by 99% since 1971. And even if you take just since 2000, most currencies are down about 80%. So this is the real disaster. And as Voltaire said, every currency will reach its intrinsic value, which is zero. And that's what we are on the way to now. So that's a major risk that needs to be protected. We believe, or I believe strongly, that the stock market is going to collapse. Whether it's going to do it this year or not, I think there's a high risk that it will do. Stocks are massively overvalued. Matt will talk more about the details of that. but that overvaluation, no trees grow to heaven. And as I said, we're not just going to see a correction now. We're going to see a major downturn in stock markets and a very long-term downturn. It could be years, or it could be decades. And just like between 1929 and 1954, when that was the first time the Dow reached the 1929 peak. So it can take a very long time. And the same debt markets that's a disaster. Whoever buys government debts is going to lose a lot of money because governments are going bust because they issue so much debt. So that will affect the risk that you're looking at, because if you hold government bonds, they will just go down in value dramatically, and interest rates will go up, in my view. We are in a rising interest rate cycle. So, that is not a pretty situation for both the world and for investors. And I haven't even talked about, Matt will probably cover a bit more, the situations in Ukraine and in Syria are not going to be easily resolved. Trump thought he would do it in a day. If he does it in a few years, I would be surprised, because Middle East is never going to go away. And the threat that America sees in Russia is so major that they're not going to give in on anything. And as you probably heard in the news today, now America is going to buy Greenland or make Greenland a 51st or 52nd state, because that's
after Canada.
Right. After Canada, yes. Yeah. So, so we can laugh at that, but that is, so we're looking at serious geopolitical issues here. And the protection of your obviously of your wealth is more important than ever. People who are in the stock market thinks it will always go up, but Matt will now go in to the details of why that is not going to be the case. So Matt, why don't you take over and look at some of the details?
We don't listen to Matt because he's a freaking idiot. He's just a salesman. He's stumbling in. He doesn't know any of the theories. So what's the point of listening to him? That's where I'm really getting stoic. I'll listen to the sports talk radio or something, and I don't even, here's Charlie from Detroit. Who the fuck's Charlie? Why do I want to listen to Charlie's opinion of what's going on, in football or baseball or anything? I don't give a fuck what Charlie thinks. I don't give a fuck what the host thinks. Somebody said to me, well, that's talk radio. And I go, I'm only listening because I'm in the car. I don't listen at home. And if it's a stupid, I just certainly don't want to hear the people who call in. It's the hosts are stupid enough, but it's just the topic. And it's as much as I can put on my channels here to watch in the car that I do it. But that's basically what you're looking at. You got these fires in LA, which are probably they're so out of control. All these houses getting burnt down. The family's getting displaced. And the problem is the insurances will go up. So your insurance policy is going to go up because your company has to pay for, you are being asked to pay for all these fires in LA. You got nothing to do with it. Isn't that why the insurance company, they're just like banks and stocks. They fuck you over. No. Oh, I have to pay? Well, yeah, since I have to pay, I'm going to raise rates for everybody. All my customers and all the insurance companies will raise rates because they had to pay for LA or New Orleans or Vegas or, we got to pay for the war. So we got to increase taxes and all this shit. So it's really stupid. Unfortunately, we're stuck with it. But anyway, go buy your gold and silver. I'll probably go Saturday. And if I don't, I got to decide what I'm going to do. But again, you have three choices. You got your paycheck. You leave it in the bank. You take it out of the bank, put it in your safe, and you go and or then you go buy gold and silver with it. So I'm definitely pulling it from the bank because there's no reason to leave it in the bank. I'm not there for the interest. It's like gold. I'm not there for the dividend. I'm there for the gold. So the price should start going up. Anyway, so that's where I'm at with it. Looking at the gold as life insurance, as all the insurance is with gold. And you just eat healthy. Like I sit there and I watch these people at the gym working out, and they're real big and fat, and I'm thinking, and they're trying to work out to lose their weight, and I'm like, just stop fucking eating, just start fasting. All you need to do is fast and stay away from sugar, and you'll lose 50 pounds without even trying. That's all you got to do. Whenever I start like having a bad, I had a cookie or something, I tend to do a fast, but every day I'm fasting till at least 11 o'clock. So like, I'll probably have a nibble. I made sloppy joe, so I'm going to nibble on that right now and then put it in the fridge and have that over the weekend. But basically, just stay away from the sweets and don't eat till 11:30, 12 o'clock every day, and you don't have to worry about anything. One thing I did, which was very clever, I made 2 pounds of sloppy joes. I normally make 3. So when I did it, you're supposed to put in like 3 cups and 3/4. You're supposed to put 1 1/4 cups for each pound. And without thinking, I put in 3 3/4 cups instead of 2.5 cups of water into the sloppy joe. And I said, fuck, what am I going to do? And then it came to me, I hadn't really stirred it all up. So I was able to dump the water. I put the water back into the cup, like a cup and a quarter. And I took it out of the pot and then just threw the water in the sink. And I got back to the 2.5 cups of water. That is what I wanted. So I was that was pretty good. Otherwise, I'd have ruined it because it would have been way too much water for 2 pounds of sloppy joe, putting in 3 3/4 instead of 2.5 cups. So when you do stupid things like I just did, you think about you problem solve it and go, how can I fix it? And that's what he meant by human labor or human capital yesterday. I got that because I am trained in problem solving, as I do for football, as I do for gold. That's what I do is problem solve. So when this hit me, I kept my cool. I stayed stoic. I said, what can I do? I said, oh, hell, I can, I haven't stirred it in. I can dump the water back out. So a little bit of the tomato paste or whatever got in it, but mostly I got a cup and a quarter out of it, which is good. It tastes fine. It's a little, who knows, but it's still pretty good. And usually it tastes better the next day when it kind of like glues together and sinks in, and then it's usually tasty, but most of it is good. And maybe I'll put some cayenne pepper and Celtic salt in it to save the flavor. But I put that in my salad every day. I made a bunch of chicken breasts. You get 5 or 6 in the pack, and I just take a half a chicken breast and a salad, and that's cayenne pepper, Celtic salt, and I take my own whatever Ken's dressing, and that's my lunch every day with a fruit or something else, dark chocolate or something, and that's what I eat. So every day, pretty much. And but when I get home, I don't want salad because I had salad for lunch. So anyway, tomorrow I'll be at work. I was hoping to work from home just to enjoy, not that I wouldn't work, but just to be home and relax and not have to drive out. And then I could run to the bank at lunch and run to to try out this new gold store. I really don't want to. I really just stay where I'm at. It's very good prices, but if he doesn't have quarter ounces, then what am I supposed to do? I want to get quarter ounces. I really don't want the silver, even though I know the silver go. It's just I got 650, 60 ounces of silver. I'd rather get another ounce of gold than another 20 ounces of silver, or another quarter ounce is like 750. So I'd rather get that than another 20 ounces of silver. Because I'd just rather get the gold. Anyway, have a good night. I am going to relax, and I have no idea what's going on in the football game, and I don't really care. Again, only an idiot would not televise this on normal TV. Obviously, that's what you have. If you think I'm buying ESPN or Amazon Prime to watch the Steeler game, you're out of your fucking mind. That'll never happen. Not by me, not by the older people. The people my age group, or we've grown up on football, and the 70 Steelers and the 70 Raiders and Joe Montana. We will never pay for Amazon Prime and all that shit. The kids, I don't know where they're getting their money to do it. Or now there's so many of these fake things that you get all the channels, right? If you get this box, you get all the channels. So nobody's even paying for it anyway. Anyway, have a wonderful night. www.teaserking.com. That's about it. So we got our football. Again, $50 buys you all the playoff games through the Super Bowl. Can't beat that. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. And again, www.teaserking.com. Be safe, be healthy. Have your Celtic salt and your cayenne pepper, please. A lot of tea, a lot of water. You need water because you got to stay hydrated. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a nice Friday.